For those under 30, you are in the most important period of your life as you have fewer financial responsibilities, time to learn and recover from financial mistakes, the ability to build a strong foundation for your future, and the opportunity to start taking advantage of the power of compound interest. Now, I'll mention more on this later in the video, but the time you have right now is even more beneficial because financially, the earlier you start, the easier it is to build true wealth. In fact, to reach $1 million by retirement starting at age 21, that would require $250 per month, assuming a 7% annual return, or if you started at age 35, you would need to invest nearly triple that at $725 just to make up. Knowing that, my name is Sully, and all I ask is if you do find value in this content, that you consider hitting the like and subscribe button for future content like this. With that said, the first milestone is to eliminate high interest debt. Now, high interest debt typically refers to debt that you have where the interest rates charged are typically around 10% or higher. Anything above that is higher than the average stock market return, so whether that be factors like credit card debt or personal loans, any debt that is charging you around 10% or higher of interest is crucial to pay off as soon as possible. In fact, when it comes to credit cards, the average APR, which is the annual percentage rate you are charged, is stated to be just over 24%. And not just that, but the total outstanding credit card balances since 1999 just continue to increase significantly, and even the Survey of Consumer Finances reported that 46% of American households held credit card debt in 2022, and even though that was a few years ago, credit card debt in America just continues to reach record highs, and even households earning $150,000 a year are struggling with credit card and car payments. All in all, high interest debt can easily grow quickly if unpaid, and that makes saving and investing so much harder, which is crucial to reach financial freedom one day. Knowing that, the second milestone to achieve before age 30 is to build an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund is simply an account that you have savings set aside in the case of unexpected factors like a job loss or medical emergency. And while this might not sound crucial, having one plays a significant role to avoid unnecessary debt and improve your financial stability. Now, it's often recommended to have at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up, and this typically depends on your lifestyle. So let's say you're single and your total living expenses are $3,000 per month. You may want to be on the lower end of 3 months saved for cushion, which would be $9,000. According to Bankrate, it's reported that only 46% of US adults have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months of expenses, where 24% have no emergency savings at all. If you're having trouble building one up, really try to just start small and even set up automatic savings so that no matter what, every paycheck that you earn, $100, $200, or whatever amount you can do, is going into your savings that you're not going to touch unless it's an absolute emergency. Which I will say, some of the best places to have an emergency fund are places like cash management accounts or high yield savings accounts, because they allow your money to still earn interest with the ability to easily access the funds if needed. Which I will say, if you want to get started with a new high yield savings account, I'll have a direct link in the description below to some of the top options available in the market. But following that, the next milestone to master is optimizing your savings rate. First, understand that your savings rate is how much you save compared to your income. Because the state you live in makes the taxes vary, let's use your total gross income and say you have a $60,000 salary, that is $5,000 per month. Most financial experts recommend aiming for at least 20% of your income saved, which follows the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, that is 50% towards needs, 30% towards wants, and 20% towards savings. And so with the example I mentioned, to save 20% of your income, that means every month you should be saving $1,000, but 20% is actually far away from the US average that is reported to be 4.5% as of June 2025. Now, understand that optimizing your savings rate is among the most important factor towards your financial success. A great example I came up on shows 3 people that started saving at the same time. They each earn $100,000 in income, which grows at 3% per year. One saved 5% of that income every year. The next is 10%, where the last doesn't save anything. They each put in $100, averaging 7% of a return each year. After 30 years, the person who saved 5% of their income would have $650,000, where the one who saved 10% would have 1.3 million, and the one who didn't consistently save would have only grown to $1,750. So the difference in how much you save has a significant impact on your future, where the CFP board specifically recommends saving at least 10 to 12% of your gross income, and if you don't start saving until you're 40, then the recommendation increases to at least 20 to 25%. This is exactly why the fourth milestone is crucial to do immediately, and that is to start investing early and consistently. Of all the data we could look at, the first one emphasizes how the earlier you start, the lower the savings rate you will need in order to reach a successful retirement. So assuming you earn 5% per year after inflation, which is on the lower end, with the goal to live off of a 4% withdrawal rate every year to last the rest of your life, if you only save 5% of your income throughout the years, based on a median income, you would have to work for 66 years to successfully retire. Where if you can achieve a 20% savings rate, the amount of working years until retirement goes down to 37 years. Although I believe that is a bit more on the conservative side, another study compares two individuals. The first is Jack, who starts investing $2,400 per year at age 21, but he stops investing at age 30 with a total of $21,600 invested on his own. But interestingly enough, by the age of 68, he would have returned over $2.3 million. Where Blake, on the other hand, starts investing at age 30 with $2,400 per year every year until 68, yet he's still not able to catch up to Jack, trailing by a solid $1 million, all because he started 9 years later. And don't forget, Jack stopped at age 30. Now, something I love to refer to when it comes to saving and investing is from one of the wisest investors of all time, Warren Buffett, who says, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." All in all, if you automate your savings to the right places for your position and live below your means enough that you can meet your savings rate goals, I'm confident your future self will thank you greatly. Which I will say, if you want to see some of the top brokerage firms to consider, I'll have a direct link in the description below to some of my favorite ones. Knowing that, let's now talk about the number 5 milestone, that is prioritizing tax-advantaged accounts. Whether you've been investing for a while or not, if you are under 30, you still have so much time to invest for your future, but understanding some of the best accounts to prioritize when it comes to taxes can really help you save a lot of money down the road. Now, even though traditional brokerage accounts that are taxed can be extremely powerful if used properly, accounts like 401ks, IRAs, and HSAs offer great tax benefits that could save nearly anyone watching this hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout the years. To simply explain each of these accounts, a 401k is simply an employer-sponsored account that your company may provide and even offer a contribution match. A simple example of this would be that you invest 3% of your paycheck into your 401k and that your company matches that by putting in another 3%, making that a total of 6% contributed, but only 3% of that came from your paycheck. And especially for those younger, consider looking into a Roth 401k, which all that means is that the income you put in is taxed up front in the given year, but the benefit is that after all the years of growing your investments, you get to avoid taxes, and by the set retirement age of 59 and a half, the withdrawals you make are completely tax-free. The tax structure here is the exact same for the Roth IRA, which is one of my favorites because you can gain complete control on how the funds are managed inside of the account. And then one underrated account I highly recommend for all, if you are eligible, is an HSA, short for a health savings account, because with this account, it is triple tax advantaged, which means whatever you contribute into the account, you can deduct from your taxes in the given year. Most accounts also offer the ability to invest your money, and with whatever you earn, you get to avoid taxes during the years, and at any time that you withdraw, as long as it's for a qualified medical expense, you get to avoid the taxes completely. So if you're in great health in your 20s, this could be a great time to save, get a tax deduction, and invest to grow the account for future medical expenses, where the longer you can invest in the account, the stronger your future medical savings will be. Knowing that, the 6th milestone to master is to build a strong credit score. This one is underrated by many because your credit score actually has a direct impact on how easily you can get approved for loans and the interest rates that you are charged on them. For example, if you had an excellent credit score that's stated to be 740 or higher, then the interest rates you are charged in areas like mortgages and auto loans will be lower than if you had a poor credit score, and in some cases, you may not even be approved. In fact, the Credit Bureau experience shows updated numbers on a 30-year conventional loan where a 620 score would likely get an average rate of 7.89% of interest, when compared to a 780 score or above that are all 7.07% of interest. I recently made a video explaining how having a strong credit score and using credit cards properly can help you save hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout your career, which sounds unrealistic until you factor in the true financial comparison when used properly. So as far as improving your credit score, if you can nail these 5 factors, I am confident you'll be in great shape in no time, with the first area to master that has the largest weight to your credit score being your payment history at 35%. This pretty much means that you just need to pay your bills on time and in full, where even one late or missed payment can seriously hurt your score. For this, I highly recommend setting up auto pay and making sure you never spend more than you can afford on your card. The next is the amount owed, which means you want to keep your credit balances low when compared to how much you can borrow. A good rule of thumb is staying under 30%, but staying under 10% is even better and recommended. So if you have a $5,000 limit on a credit card, aim to keep that under $500 by the statement closing date, and you'll be in the right direction. After that is the length of credit history at 15%, which basically means the longer you've had credit accounts open, the better your score could be, which is why I generally recommend to keep old cards active. If you don't use one anymore, consider putting it on auto pay with the cheap subscription that you use to keep it active. From there, we have credit mix at 10%, which pretty much shows that you are using different types of credit like credit cards and various loans, showing that you have responsible use with your finances that will boost your score. And the last one is new credit at 10%, which for this, you ideally want to avoid applying for new credit all at once, where if you space it out, you'll have less of an impact, and over time, your credit score could very well improve if you followed all of the prior factors that I just mentioned properly. Knowing that the next milestone is aiming to build or buy assets. Whether it be real estate, the simplicity of the stock market, or starting to build your own business, aiming to build or buy your own assets that can grow over time and provide a potential income is crucial to reaching financial freedom and building significant wealth. 2 of the primary forms of investing would be to invest the money you have into the strongest assets you can find, ideally ones that you have great expertise in or potential interest, or you can invest your time and energy into building something that can be valuable to society, and if done right, you could also gain significant value back. Which, not to mention, but studies have proven that elderly adults have lower energy levels than adults in their 20s and early 30s, where the chart below shows the general decline as you age. So if you are one eager to start your own business, I highly recommend starting as soon as possible. But regardless of which route you take, the wealthiest people in the world, financially speaking, have been able to grow assets significantly and consistently over time that have provided significant value to the world. Whatever investments that come to mind, just remember that the ability to reach financial freedom to last the rest of your life without investing your time or money into strong assets could make it extremely difficult. Because of that, I'm actually in the process of releasing my new startup, InvestLane, with the goal of helping others save and invest wisely for their future. So if you want to check that out, once it's officially posted, I'll have that linked in the description below. Now, if you found value in this content, I'm going to leave other videos and resources that I created linked below as well that I think you may find great value from. And don't forget, if you want to get started with a new high yield savings account or investing platform, I'll have direct links to some of my favorite ones below as well. And as always, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notifications button for future content like this.